welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. Look, I barely got a chance to sprinkle water on my face this morning. I got the news early this morning for me, early for me, that the New York Giants have officially benched Daniel Jones. Officially benched Daniel Jones, but that's not even the biggest news. The biggest news is they decided to just skip over Drew Lock. Skipped over Drew Lock and went straight to who? Tommy Devito. Shout out to Jersey. Tommy DeVito will be the quarterback, the starting quarterback for the New York Giants against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Can't say that I'm surprised because I was one of the ones that said, you know what, just give me DeVito. I don't even care about Lock. Just go ahead and give me DeVito. Maybe I'm biased because it's Jersey, and that's exactly what happened. We get Tommy DeVito. And we all understand why they did that. We already know last year they were able to strike, they catch lightning in the bottle with Tommy DeVito. They were able to do that. They were able to do that. And I think that right now they're grasping for straws. They're trying to hold on to anything possible to save their jobs. They're looking for some energy. And why not go directly to Tommy DeVito? Because guess what? Drew Lock is not something that you turn your TV on for. You can say that Tommy DeVito is not something that you'll turn your TV on for. But guess what? There's a vibe with Tommy DeVito. If all else fails, if playing on the field fails, there's a vibe. He has his own type of aura, whether you want to buy into it or not. He has his own type of vibe, own type of aura, own type of swag that'll get people to tune in. And guess what? I'm not going to lie. It's not like I think that we're going to win games now because we got Tommy DeVito. But you know what? I want to see what happens. I want to tune in to see what happens. The New York Giants have already dropped to the 5th pick. We've already dropped to the 5th pick. And if everything happens the way it's been happening, hopefully we continue to stay within the 7 to 8 range. 7 to 8 range, depending on who loses, who wins, and stuff like that. We need a lot of people to lose because our strength of schedule puts us above a lot of people, especially the Cleveland Browns because we beat them. So now we're sitting at 5. We're in a little bit of no man's land. You know what? I don't even know what a tank will entail. But right now, I know this. Tommy DeVito is a new quarterback of the New York Giants. They will not go back to Daniel Jones. You can't make a move like this where you leapfrog Drew Lock and go straight to Tommy DeVito. You can't do something like this and then, Daniel Jones comes back at the end. You can't do it. You can't do it. And the question is now, because they will have some players doing some Zoom meetings. I believe it's at 1:30 Eastern time today. We'll see what happens when the beat writers start dropping their notes from the pressers and the meetings. I believe Brian Dable still won't be seen until Wednesday. We'll see what happens for sure. But man, Tommy DeVito, quarterback of the New York Giants again. A lot of people don't like it. Some people love it. Some people are stoic. For me, I'm in wait and see mode. I want to see what happens. I want to see if, I already feel, and I've had a lot of videos. I already feel like Daniel Jones was a big part of the problem. I got issues with Brian Dable as well, and I definitely got issues with Joe Schoen. And speaking of Joe Schoen, before I get back to the point, speaking of Joe Schoen, you went and got Drew Lock, paid him $5 million, and you don't even trust him, or the coaching staff don't even trust him to be the next quarterback up, but you made him the second string or the backup quarterback. That's an indictment on Joe Schoen. And trust me, there's been a lot of indictments on Joe Schoen, but this is a big one because you pay that man $5 million when you had Tommy DeVito on the roster the whole time. And if you don't even trust Drew Lock to be the backup, why'd you pay that man all that $1 million? You were better off just keeping Tommy DeVito as a backup quarterback and saving the $5 million or taking that $5 million and signing someone else. Another piece, maybe another lineman, maybe another cornerback, maybe a defensive lineman. Is what you could have did with that $5 million. But I understand, kind of why he did it. But this move just lets it be known for sure. It's been solidified that they don't even trust Drew Lock. And why did we bring him here? Why did we bring him here? But we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see with Daniel Jones, because I don't believe he wants to be the backup at all. We already heard those rumors. If he's not going to be the starter, you're probably going to make him your emergency quarterback. You don't want him getting snaps, because if we're going off of what Brian Dable does, the starting quarterback gets all the snaps in practice. You barely get any kind of snaps from the backup quarterback, and you're not going to have Daniel Jones running with the practice squad. It's not going to happen. So you're really shutting down Daniel Jones, and that's going to be the interesting thing. Is he going to be in shoulder pads? Is he going to be a healthy scratch? What's going to happen with Daniel Jones from now on? How embarrassing are these last 7 weeks going to be for him? And there's a lot of questions that we get to find out. But guess what, though? It's an end of an era. Not an end of an era, an end of an error. Daniel Jones was an error. And it's not me trying to kick a man while he's down. Daniel Jones tried his best, did his best, but his best was not good enough. It's as simple as that. I can't fault Daniel Jones for doing the best that he could. It's just that his best sometimes won his games, but most of the time didn't win his games. And you eventually have to move on. And this has been 6 seasons, or to my man Cop Pizzle, 5.5 seasons of Daniel Jones, and 5.5 seasons of Daniel Jones is plenty long enough. So now we get to look off into the distance. We got seven more games, and guess what? Tommy DeVito can go into this game on Sunday and be an absolute dud. But guess what? For right now, for these next couple of days into that game, it's gaining some interest. Are we going to see the Tommy DeVito from last year that can get us on a run? Are we going to see that? Do New York Giants fans even want any kind of run? I'm looking at the draft situation, and I don't know what's going to happen now. With Daniel Jones, a lot of people felt like with Daniel Jones, you put Daniel Jones out there, you're going to keep on losing. Now we have Tommy DeVito, and I kind of feel like we're still going to be losing, but I really want to see what happens. And for me, when it comes to Sunday, I always root for the wins anyway. So this is going to be something that's intriguing. I won't call it exciting, but it's definitely intriguing to see what's going to happen in these next couple of games. And can Tommy DeVito go on the run? Will we see DeVito madness again? Is that something that's going to happen? Are we going to be pacified by that? I will say this. Even if Tommy DeVito somehow goes absolutely off, even if he goes absolutely off, it doesn't stop me from drafting a quarterback. Hopefully people don't sip the Kool-Aid to that extent. If the New York Giants are winning. Now, listen, I love winning. I will always root for the wins. I know what the bigger picture is. I'm just curious to see what happens. And I'm pretty sure everybody else is curious to see what happens too, because it was a lot of doom and gloom. And for some people, this doesn't move the needle. It might still be doom and gloom, but it definitely at least is intriguing to see what's going to happen in the next couple of games with Tommy DeVito, because we saw him beat teams like the Green Bay Packers, which was a good team last year. They're an okay team this year. He did that without Malik Neighbors and without the defense that was playing the way that the defense could play now. Can the New York Giants score points now with Tommy DeVito? That's going to be the biggest question. Is it going to look different? If Brian Dable calls a different type of game for Tommy DeVito and the offense looks good, that's good for Brian Dable, because I already told you that it was operation throw Danny from the train, throw Danny under the bus, make Danny the scapegoat for both Brian Dable and Joe Schoen, to try to cover up all the mistakes and mishaps that they've made themselves, because they've done a lot to mess up the New York Giants as well. But if they can get Tommy DeVito to go on a little bit of a run, that's going to be the best thing for Brian Dable for sure, because that shows that he can still coach, get him the right quarterback, and we'll see if he can take this team to the next level. That's what this move is about, seeing if Brian Dable is worth saving. That's what I think this is. At the end of the day, this is a move to see if Brian Dable is worth saving. I don't know what's going to happen with Joe Schoen. Again, his draft class this year is doing some things, but I already talked about why I think those guys were put into place to make these, to make plays and have these good grades and stuff like that. But that'll be a different video for a different time. But let me just know how you guys feel about the New York Giants finally making this move, finally benching Daniel Jones officially, and now skipping right over Drew Lock and going to Tommy DeVito. Tommy 2 times. Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlass. Tommy 2 times, 2 touchdowns. It is what it is. I'm a little bit intrigued to see it, and a tiny bit excited. Shout out to Jersey, man. Shout out to Jersey. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.